Emperor Palpatine might not be the only surprise character returning in Rise of Skywalker. That's the headline on this week's Force Friday show. And Stephen, what the hell do you make of that one? Because that's very intriguing, I have to say. Obviously, we know that she's coming back now. That was very much a surprise to some people. Perhaps not so much to me, because I was kind of discussing it about 2-3 weeks prior to Celebration. I says that Ian McDermott was going to Celebration, and I suspected he wasn't just going there to recite more Shakespearean poetry in the voice of Sheikh Palpatine. I suspected he may have a part to play in the film. We know he's having a part to play, but there's a surprise potential character in there, and it's Han Solo. I'm just going to drop that there. It's potentially Han Solo. So what do you think of this? How is this going to work?
Not just Han Solo, but Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford, Harrison Ford. So how do you think this is going to work? Do you think it's true?
Listen, John, I'm not going to get carried away because that's speculation, but listen, this is the stuff of dreams as far as, original trilogy Star Wars fans go. Is it a possibility? If we're giving it a percentage, I would probably give it maybe about 25% of a possibility. I doubt this is going to happen. I'd love it to happen. You did discuss before we came on that they could have this in the bank already with old footage. But whether or not Harrison Ford would agree to that, I don't know. On the other hand,
if he's getting paid for it, I don't
Harrison
think
Ford during the promotion of The Force Awakens was really embracing the character once more. He was enjoying himself on the chat shows, talking about his experience, apart from the Millennium Falcon doors crushing his leg.
He had a very turbulent time in his life.
I think he was really enjoying it. I think he was really enjoying being back with the old gang again. But whether or not he makes an appearance in this final episode is really up in the air. I think everyone out there would love this.
I would love it, Steve.
The theory and how this would work is also intriguing, John.
I thought I was putting you off there again there, Stephen, looking at the iPad while you were talking.
No.
I thought you were letting me come in there.
Listen, the theory as well, I'll let you explain the theory how this would work, John. I think
how it would work.
Before I read the article, I thought, how's this going to work? This is it's going to look so shoehorned in. But when I read the article, it could work, because the more you read into it, the more you think, well, I'll let you explain it, but the more you look into it, this has been done before from the reverse side of things in Episode 7.
Yeah, well, Stephen, the theory is... Episode 8, yeah. The theory is essentially that, obviously, Kylo Ren, Ben Skywalker, Ben Solo, he's not a Skywalker, everybody, and not for me anyway, some people think he is. Ben Solo killed his father, obviously Han Solo, in The Force Awakens, and the theory is that Luke could potentially be, how can I word this? Manipulating, yes, that would be the word. The Force to conjure up Han Solo to Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, in The Rise of Skywalker, and a potential way to bring him back over to the light side. This is how they're saying that he could pop up. Han could appear in a sequence with his Kylo Ren in what is described as a surprise intervention of sorts. So it could be an intervention. Luke did say no one's ever really gone, but then at some point prior to that, I think you mentioned that he was gone, that he couldn't save him now. So maybe in the time period that's obviously commenced since the Last Jedi, I'm getting very excited to tell him my hand. Maybe it's been 2, 3, 4 years, who knows? And in that intervening period, Luke's had a lot of time to think about it. He's a Force ghost, he's a bit of a celestial object now. He can sit in logs and ponder away.
I think when you become a Force ghost, you can become a bit of a hypocrite,
He is. He was a cunning warrior and a good friend. Yeah, exactly, Stephen. So perhaps he's seen the error of his ways, understands that there is still conflict within Kylo, and that he could redeem him. And how better to redeem him if they're not going to utilise the archival footage of Carrie Fisher to perhaps have a moment with her son and manipulate him and bring him back to the light side that way, than to bring up his father, who he murdered in cold blood.
Talk about hypocrites. I'm one myself, because a couple of weeks ago when we were doing the Force Friday show, I went into a fit of giggles over a theory, which is probably more realistic than this one.
What one was it? Oh yeah, the fight, the Knights of Ren.
fighting Poe
Yeah.
and Finn, and it being a fair fight.
That'd be
But
terrible. No, they were fighting Maz Kanata's pirates as well. I didn't realise Maz Kanata had pirates.
Maybe it's a backing band, I don't know.
A backing band, yeah. Like Boney M.
Yeah.
Well, we did see the Boney M photo and those leaked images of Episode 9. Now we know it's Rise of Skywalker. There was a strange alien, sort of a
style,
80s ABBA supergroup. So who knows, that may be Maz Kanata's pirates, I don't know. But Stephen, all in all, if they are going to utilise Han and bring him into this film in an organic manner, weave him into the story in a way that's not going to disrupt the tone and the story and the pacing,
Well, that's another thing.
and bring everybody out of the film, then this would be the way to do it, utilising it through a vision, perhaps through some force manipulation with Luke. He doesn't actually have to come back, as I did say. It could be stock footage which has been, not stock footage which has been filmed from the previous, obviously The Force Awakens, and they can then utilise this in a way and drop him into a sort of a similar situation that we got with Rey in Maz Kanata's castle in The Force Awakens, where Luke's manipulating the Force and he's conjuring up a vision of obviously Kylo's father in an attempt to bring him back to the light. Look, I want to see Kylo redeemed, so ultimately anyway it's going to facilitate him being redeemed. I'm on board, and I love Harrison Ford, so I'm always up for seeing the great man returning. Just hope he doesn't break his leg if he does return. Although, Stephen, it does ponder the question, if Harrison Ford is indeed returned for this film, he's actually got on the set, and it's not stock for I keep saying stock footage, archival footage from a previous film. How the hell have they managed to keep this under wraps, keep it a secret? Because everybody would know that Harrison Ford was in London at Pinewood, or he was on set filming. So how do you keep it a secret? It's impossible unless they've got him off in some other location, utilising sort of some technique to bring him in. Secretive technique, I don't know. He's done it before with Khan in I think it was Into Darkness, Star Trek. So he has got previews for it, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think 25% is reasonable. I actually think 15% is a better.
I think the only thing that really keeps me sort of at that level of belief is the fact that J.J. Abrams is saying that this movie is going to tie in all previous episodes.
Yeah.
And if you're going to tie in all previous episodes, you're going to bring back reoccurring characters and stuff like that.
I want to see Anakin back first and foremost.
Well, I think if you were asking me if I had the choice between both Anakin and Han Solo, it would be Anakin. Because Han Solo's story sadly ended after The Empire Strikes Back. Certainly was a spare part in Return of the Jedi.
It was. He was used to that,
unfortunately. But
look, Stephen, talking about characters that are definitely returning and characters that may not be returning, John Boyega has said that not so great. It was okay. John Boyega says that he honestly thinks The Rise of Skywalker is the last time that he will play Finn. He was interviewed by, I don't recall who it was. It was during an interview.
It was MTV.
MTV. One guy asked him, does he think he'll ever step into the role of Finn again? And he says that he honestly doesn't. He thinks that this is a war that just ends everything. So that's bringing up a couple of questions, and hopefully we can answer them, Stephen, although we don't know anything about anything. So
we're so
probably not.
John, but
we're so informative. We love Star Wars, but we don't know what's going on in this film,
it's
Stephen,
probably the most honest answer that any actor at this stage in a Star Wars film prior to its release has come out and answered it well. John Boyega he's basically knocked it on the head and gave a straight answer, saying he doesn't honestly think that this character he's going to return to the character.
And when you see it in written form, you think perhaps he's playing with us. It could be a double bluff. But when you actually listen to the interview, it becomes quite clear that I think he's being genuine. I think he's being genuine. He doesn't really know whether he'll be back one way or the other. Obviously, he can't spoil the events of The Rise of Skywalker, so Finn may bite the bullet in that film, so it's possible he already does know.
Yeah, I'd be annoyed with that, because I think if Finn was going to be a character that was going to be killed off, it should have been in that
Last
scene
Jedi.
on Crate,
Yeah, Rose ended that.
I thought that was a powerful scene right up to that point as well.
It was a very powerful scene. I was getting goosebumps, Stephen. I was actually grabbing onto the arm. I was like, the armrest of the chair, and I was thinking, don't do it, Finn, come on, don't do it. But then he didn't do it, because Rose brought a stupid little ship in and ended any hopes of a beautiful redemptive arc for Finn. But look, I digress. Do I think he's telling the truth? I honestly don't know, Stephen. Do I want him to be telling the truth? Again, honestly, I don't know, Stephen. There we're
I want you to watch that again.
We're getting John Boyega. And what topped that, shirt that was he had on incidentally at the celebration. Very, very cool. I think he's about the only guy in the world who could wear that and pull it off. If I wore that, I'd look like an absolute fool. But, Stephen, the other question that raises up is the concept of this being a war that truly does end everything. That is very intriguing to me because we've seen many a great war in various different Star Wars films. We've seen the War of Geonosis. It's not that great a war, let's be honest. We've seen the battle.
Computer game.
Yeah, we've seen the battle of obviously Endor, the Yavin 4 takedown of the Death Star. We've seen some great big bombastic set pieces and war sequences, even the one over the top of Coruscant at the beginning of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. That was a fantastic sequence and it was quite a big war. So it's taken me back, this quote, that this could potentially be a war that ends everything. Could we have a Rogue One event here where everybody's holding hands and dying on beaches? Could it be possible that everybody dies in this film? And as you says, Luke Skywalker is the only primary character
the other
to come out of this.
Force Ghosts as well. So
But we already know that Yoda's a bit crazy. When he died, he was crazy. He went off and done stupid things. So Luke's really the only sane one left at the end of the Skywalker saga. I think that'd be quite poetic in many ways. There was much gnashing of teeth about Luke Skywalker dying in the manner in which he did in The Last Jedi, and then at the end of it all, everybody dies and he's the only one left. I think that'd be great. Him and his two droid friends. I don't know, Stephen, what do you think of that before we move on swiftly?
I think watching that interview with John Boyega, I think it was a very honest answer. As well, he's not going to know right at this point whether or not Lucasfilm are going to contact him in 10 years' time and say we want Finn to come back for this specific specific standalone Star Wars film. He doesn't know that at this stage, So at this point in his career, at this point in this franchise, none of us know, apart from the Binoff and Weiss stuff and the Ryan Johnson stuff, which I don't think any of these characters are going to appear in any shape or form.
No.
He doesn't know, and we don't know. I don't even think Lucasfilm know yet. So he's gave the most honest answer he could.
Yeah, Stephen, and we don't know whether this next topic is going to be real either. It's all about Knights of Ren appearing on a desert planet. They don't know the name of this planet yet. I think it's Tatooine. We spoke about this during our reaction of the Rise of Skywalker trailer. Yeah.
A lot of people online, particularly Collider and stuff like that, they're adamant it's Jakku.
Could be.
Time
will tell on that one.
I mean, I'm only saying it's Tatooine because I think the terrain's very similar to Tatooine.
And much like you said, Stephen, JJ says he wants to have this being a tie-in of all the previous different sequels and films and trilogies. Yeah. So we've been to Jakku, we've done it to the death. Let's go back to Tatooine.
Yeah, I've been there 3 times already. Yeah.
Let's go back again.
Episode
I want to see
4,
how
6
Bib.
and 1. Yeah.
I want to see
and
how
2,
Bib. But I want to
4
see.
times.
I want to see how
5
Bib
times. It was. We went back to Tatooine in episode 3 as well at the very end. So 5 times.
But how is Bib Fortuna doing? I have to know. Is he still alive? Come the events of Rise of Skywalker. How long does a Twi'lek or Twi'lek? How long did they live? Could Bib still be alive? He was Scottish, the actor. I think he's potentially dead. I don't know if he's still alive. The guy portrayed him. But I need to see those nails, those fang teeth, and I want to see those head tails. So
I think he's got a great way, Luke Skywalker as well. I think there could be a bit of a revenge mission there.
Yeah, but it's not titled revenge, sadly, Stephen.
For making him a mug of him in front of his Jabba.
If serves your master well, you will be rewarded, yes. But look, Stephen, this is not even remotely tying into the topic.
No.
The general gist is that we are going to see the Knights of Ren, a total of 6, none of them Force users, carrying big blasters like that compared to that we've seen in the Halo franchise. The 3rd Knight will have an iron mask and wields a staff. The 4th member of this group, if I can speak correctly, wields a mace. And they're saying, Stephen, that essentially, they're going to be appearing on this desert planet. Yeah. There's going to be a jungle planet as well. And there's a swamp location, so are we going back to Dagobah?
It makes that theory more plausible, John, that if they're on that desert planet, they are the ones that are going to be, after all, taking on Finn and Poe and those sail barge things. Yeah. I think it might be them that's chasing them. I think also as well, I know it's never I don't think it's ever been confirmed that the Knights of Ren were ever Force users anyway.
No.
I think we just mostly assumed that from them being associated with Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I think the assumption was that they were students, fallen students from obviously when Kylo ransacked
so
the temple.
I had no right scoffing at that theory
No.
the other week, because it sounds
it makes
like
more sense now.
Well, it does,
Yeah.
Because I naturally assumed that they were Force users as well, wrongly assumed. But this would be more plausible. I think, without saying it looks like their skills are being watered down to match Finn and Poe's skills, that would be an injustice, because that's my own assumption that they were Force users. So I think that could tie in, John. I think that we're not seeing them in that trailer. We might get to see them in the sort of full trailer that comes out later.
Yeah, well, Stephen, this is coming from making Star Wars, so I would put quite a bit of weight onto these rumours, because these guys are usually bang on in what they say. They're saying essentially that a lot of filming related to this group took place at Jordan and obviously in Pinewood, and that they will be commanding an army of red stormtroopers. So that is very intriguing indeed.
Okay.
Cannot wait to see that playing out.
Another
Obviously,
toy,
we know, another toy, and lots of cosplay for people going to the next celebration. But Stephen, I digress. We've seen, I love that phrase, I'm going to get a hat. We have seen, obviously we know Poe, Finn and Rey are on that desert planet, so all of the gang are there. Are we going to see this being a climatic battle on this mystery desert planet between the forces of the Knights of the Ren, Kylo Ren, and also the good guys, the resistant leaders, the resistance leaders?
Traditionally, Star Wars doesn't do that. It normally has three different things going on at once for the climatic bit. You've got the sort of ground sort of battle, you've got the sort of personal battle between good and evil, and then you've got the sort of aerial stuff going on. You know? Yeah,
Stephen, and we did hear rumours that the Knights of Ren would potentially turn on Kylo, and this would be a way to redeem him as well. That they turned on him. He's seen the error of his ways and sided with Rey and maybe took them on against a greater threat. And that was the rumours. They brought back a greater threat, or information about a threat from the unknown regions of the galaxy. Again, that may have been coming straight from Mike Zero, I don't know. But look, Stephen, I've done it to the death. It's a very short and sweet little topic, essentially from making Star Wars, outlining where they filmed and news that they are indeed not Force users and they command an army of red soldiers, stormtroopers, who knows. So it's interesting, I don't know what it means, and I'm going to move on to the next topic because I've got not much more to say about it. And this next topic is very intriguing, Stephen. It's going back to the future. We have a Back to the Future poster there. We never changed it to the Empire Strikes Back one again. And this is all about Episode 7's failures might explain Death Star in Episode 9's trailer. And essentially, from what I've read in the article, Stephen, the general gist of this is that they used the Death Star in early sort of concepts and pre-production sort of storylines and things where they were going to dive down into an undersea sort of a wreckage of the second Death Star, and there was going to be knowledge about the whereabouts of the Jedi and relics and stuff within the Emperor's throne room, and Rey was going to utilise this to find the lost or missing.
Must have kept that in a drawer somewhere.
Luke Skywalker. Yeah, she was going to try and use that to find Luke Skywalker. As we know, they found Luke Skywalker. It didn't involve a Death Star. No. There wasn't any throne room underwater. There wasn't any Jedi relics in that form. So now they're rehashing this for episode 8
the relics
and 9.
did appear in Luke's hut, as you recall, in episode
Much
8.
more sense. It makes more sense. Why would the Emperor have Jedi relics and whereabouts of secret Jedi locations?
The throne room is a very basic room. If you're thinking about sets, it was a very basic set. It had a lift and a chair.
And a walkway.
Just
perfectly positioned for the
Emperor. Didn't have any cupboards or anything like that. But no,
maybe had a cupboard.
This is one of the things that Star Wars does well in regards to changing things about. As we know that the sort of template Lucas was going to use for the third trilogy originally was that Leia wasn't.
Leia originally wasn't Luke's sister. In the first sort of layouts. There was another one.
Yeah, there was another one.
And he would go off and find her.
But what they did was they just condensed it all into that one last episode, which kind of made Return of the Jedi suffer a little because of the sort of far-fetchedness of it all. But listen, that's what they do well. They take elements of certain stories, some that are disused, they might use later on. So.
Yeah, well, Stephen, I think they're saying also that
I'd
Michael...
love to have saw an underwater
I would have loved to
trench
see
scene.
it.
I thought
Well,
it'd have been quite
I think we will now.
visually spectacular to see, yeah.
Although they say that trench scene, that was in the first Death Star. This
Pretty
is the second Death Star.
pretty sure that had the trench as well.
Did it? It may have done. Yeah, it might have done, Stephen. I don't know the inner intricacies of the Death Stars. I just know that, obviously, Daffy Boy, Julius Vader, told that guard, I can't recall his name, that they must double their efforts, and that's all I know about it. And it got destroyed by Lando. And what's his face? Near Numb.
Yeah.
I think that was his name. But look, they're saying here that Michael Arndt, obviously the guy who originally was involved in writing the screenplay for The Force Awakens, that he worked with Lucas as a consultant, and that they were amalgamating the original treatments of George Lucas into the story. So maybe we could potentially see, we also discussed last week, that George Lucas was involved in helping JJ with certain things with the Rise of Skywalker. Could it be that he went back, picked his mind about this original screenplay and treatment and the utilisation of this Death Star theory? And how is this going to play into the Emperor, Stephen? Because I'm becoming more and more convinced as more information kind of drip feeds out, and we get more information about previous sort of treatments and stuff and what they were doing with stories, that I think the Emperor's going to be tethered to this Death Star ruin, if indeed he's still alive. I think it could be it may be residual haunting. It could be a residual ghost connected to the Death Star, or it could just be his spirit. He put so much into this second Death Star, trying to defeat the rebellion once and for all, that he is just there as an entity. We've seen that with, I think, Exar Kun in the original EU books. He was tethered to the Yavin 4 sort of temples. So it could be that. I don't think he's going to be alive.
No, I don't think so, John. I think that's probably the best way to play out that sort of situation as well with the character, because then you're not peeing over Episode 6, his sort of efforts as well with the redemption of Anakin Skywalker to an extent. Also Luke's words in that trailer as well, no one's ever really gone. That's a kind of a play. I think that's a bit of a misdirection. And
we've now found out that the laugh isn't actually from Rise of Skywalker, it is indeed reused
from
audio.
Episode 3,
Yeah.
I knew that anyway. They did say that they were going to use a lot of the stuff, that they used before the elements from previous episodes.
And they definitely did.
Every generation,
That's
or every
prequels,
saga has a whatever it was, I can't remember. But it was, that was from the
generation
Phantom.
has a legend.
That was from the Phantom Menace. I knew that right away, and I did that. When we did the reaction, I spotted it right away.
You were bang on, Stephen.
Listen, we'll soon find out. How this is going to play. But I wouldn't mind it being some kind of a Sith spirit or whatever it's going to be, some kind of form. We've never seen that before cinematically, John. We've always seen it from the light side, so let's see it from the dark side. Yeah,
I'm all up for that, Stephen. But look, I'm going to move on to the next topic. We are running out of time.
Yeah.
We were originally going to speak about the emotional impact of potentially the rejuvenation of the Star Wars brand via TV, but we're going to cut that now, Stephen, because we've not got time. And go right on to this one. We're getting strange flickering here. I think this is potentially Chief Palpatine coming back to haunt me, because it says he's tethered to the Death Star. I think he's trying to do damage to me. Well, I don't care, Chief, because I'm not in any way connected to the Force, so screw you. But Stephen, this topic, I digress, it's got a real emotional connection with you. I can feel your pain from here. It's all about rare Star Wars toys in general. We're going to amalgamate two different headlines here. This main one is all about a rare Star Wars TIE bomber being found in a Coalville loft. This is a very rare 40-year-old sort of a prototype TIE bomber, which was found untouched still in its packaging, and it's absolutely stunning. I have to say, looking at it apparently came over from the States as a sort of a trial, and it is incredible to look at the rareness of this toy, first and foremost, because I've never seen it. And first and foremost, it's absolutely incredible, just the details in it, and seeing the other little toys, the little Bespin Cloud City, double bipedal, bi-compartment thing. But the second one, Stephen, I'll touch upon that before I let you in, is about early rare Star Wars figures going on auction and could raise up to £12,000 per doll. Now, I know you've had at least two of these, Stephen. I think it's the Logre and also the Bib Fortuna toys, the 3.75 inch, 3 3/4 inch toys. So what do you make of this, Stephen? What's your thoughts on seeing this piece of history, this TIE bomber? Because it's stunning to look upon this. It's almost like a time capsule. And just, I'll fling in another question. How does that How are you feeling about giving away a potential £12,000 toy? First and foremost, 2, you could have been a rich man.
Yeah, I think 3 actually. I had the Imperial Guard as well.
Yeah, that's just
with a cloak on, with the red cloak.
With the red cloak.
Yeah.
But the final secondary question I'll ask is, what you think about this? Obviously, was George Lucas a man ahead of his time with the whole merchandising?
Yeah.
And is this being played out? And is there still an order about Star Wars merchandising as well? That's what
I don't know so much now, John.
No.
We're in an age where everything sells. Back in the late 70s, it was something that had never been done before. If you ever watched the documentary Empire of Dreams, they explain it better than I ever could in regards to merchandising. There wasn't any merchandising. It was never heard of in any franchise prior to Star Wars. George Lucas had the forefront to, I think he signed a lot of things away, but one of the things he did want to hold on to was the merchandising rights, because
He's a smart man.
the studios didn't think there was any future in it.
Just like there was no future in guitar music back in the 1960s when Decca told the Beatles.
Yeah.
And
what did they
much
know?
to their peril, they found out otherwise.
And when I saw these images coming up, John, it did take me back to my childhood. I didn't come from a well-off, upbringing or anything like that.
No.
I would spend many a day standing in Tesco's toy section, just looking at these things.
Yeah, for me,
smelling the packaging as well. That was always part of it. A bit of a weirdo, but it was that smell. I could always remember the smell of opening a Star Wars toy. It was that kind of plasticky.
I know what you're talking about, Stephen.
Combination of plastic and paper. It was a very unique smell, John.
Yeah, it used to be me, Stephen, with video games. I used to open up the packaging and smell the manual, because it had that newness, and there's something about it. It's just special.
Yeah. So
look, Apple have even touched upon that, Stephen, how it's an experience, the packaging, the smells, everything. So you're not a weirdo.
Yeah, peeling that thing off, yeah. But listen, these toys, it does take me back. Kenner, they had the foresight as well. I think they had those empty boxes because they didn't have the actual toys ready for that first Christmas of 1977 or 78 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But they had the foresight as well to take that challenge on of creating these toys and the merchandise for George Lucas. So we can't forget that either. No. But the packaging as well, it does takes me back to 35 years ago when I used to see these in the toy stores and stuff like here in Glasgow. And what a find, what a find to find that in its original packaging.
Minted.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and some geezer here, Steve Fulford, I think his name is Fulford, says that he's really excited about it because it's the rarest die-cast Star Wars toy that survived in its sealed box. It's an amazing find. So look, I'd love to have found that in my attic, Stephen. The best I had was moving to a house and some guy had left a big sort of a storage box full of toys, and I found some Tusken Raiders or Sand People, I like to call them, because that's the proper name. So that was the best I had. I didn't have any Kenner toys, but look, I was a very happy child. I had Star Wars games, I had the Stormtroopers. I love the merchandising. I do think he was a visionary, a man ahead of his time, just realising that there was a market there for toys. And as I did say, he was a very smart man, signing that deal to keep all of the rights to the toys, because it's proven to be an absolute gold mine for George. He's a billionaire now, thanks to it. And these toys are very cool. I feel for you, Stephen, obviously losing out on potentially £20,000 worth of toys, but look, that's life. It's like Del Boy Trotter. But look, guys, that just brings us to the end of this week's Force Friday show. If you've enjoyed the show, the content, you know what to do. Comment below and let us know your thoughts on all those myriad of different topics that we discussed. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this in the future. And we'll be back next Monday with MBE Box Office.